Hi boys and girls, Mrs. Glaser here. Today we are going to learn how to create our own song to go with one of your favorite stories. You can pick any book you want, and today we're going to work on making a little simple song to go with that awesome book so you can use it to perform for your family, your friends, your siblings. It's going to be a great time. First, we're going to be talking about our target. Again, our target will be I will be able to create a simple song to sing with a book. All right, let's look at our success criteria. Remember, these are things that will help you be successful in reaching your target today. First, let's find a book you enjoy. It could be any book you like. Picture books and short stories are really wonderful for this kind of a project, but really any book you like would work. Next, you're going to look for the theme or the plot in the story. What's happening? What's their main goal? Then you're going to make up a sentence using the theme or the plot to help you. And number one, have fun. We'll learn how to put this sentence into your book and turn it into a song that you will use while you're reading your book. Let's go. All right, let's get ready to create our simple song to go with the book. Number one, you need to find a book to use. It could be any book at your house. I'm going to be using today a few different books to give you some examples. My first one is called Giraffes Can't Dance. Now I'm going to look through and figure out what is the story going on? What's the theme? What's the plot? And I figured out while reading through this book, it's all about a giraffe named Gerald who thinks he cannot dance. But he gets some secret advice from a friend and he realizes he can dance. And not only can he dance, he's a really awesome dancer. So I'm going to use that theme that he thought he couldn't dance, but he can and he's really good to help me come up with a sentence. Now, if I don't want to use my own words, I can look through the book. And sometimes if you look for a sentence that's already in the book, it will help you come up with that sentence you'd like to use for your song. And I saw something on the very last page. It was something Gerald remembered that one of his friends told him. He says, "We all can dance when we find music that we love." I really like that sentence in this book, so I'm going to use that to come up with my little tune, okay? All right, so I figured out what sentence I kind of want to use. Now I need to work on my song. This is a really short, simple song. You could use a tune that you already know, something that goes with a nursery rhyme maybe you already know, or a song you already know, or you can just kind of hum around and figure out, what would be some nice notes for this sentence? So my sentence is, we can all dance when we find music that we love. So if I was humming around, maybe I wanted to use Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. I could say, we all can dance when we find music that we love. You could use something like that. You could just come up with maybe one note. We can all dance when we find music that we love. Something like that. Maybe you want to use body percussion, maybe some claps, some pats on your knees, some stomps, maybe some snaps. We can all dance when we find music that we love. Something like that. Maybe you go over to an instrument you have and you just start making some notes. Maybe I want to go, we can all dance when we find music that we love. Any tune you want that comes to your head. Try out a few, then pick one that you really like, okay? After you pick your tune that you really like, I want you to read through your whole book, and every time you turn the page, I want you to sing your simple song. Then right at the end, after your final page, you'll sing the song one more time and see how you like it. Let's try it with this book. Here's our book, Giraffes Can't Dance, by Giles Andre and Guy Parker Reese. We can all dance when we find music that we love. Gerald was a tall giraffe whose neck was long and slim. but his knees were awfully crooked and his legs were rather thin. We can all dance when we find music that we love. He was very good at standing still and munching shoots off trees. But when he tried to run around, he buckled at the knees. We can all dance when we find music that we love. Now, every year in Africa, they hold the jungle dance, where every single animal turns up to skip and prance. And this year, when that day arrived, poor Gerald felt so sad, because when it came to dancing, he was really very bad. We can all dance when we find music that we love. The warthogs started waltzing, and the rhinos rock and rolled. The lions danced a tango that was elegant and bold. We can all dance when we find music that we love. The chimps all did a cha-cha with a very Latin feel, and 8 baboons then teamed up for a splendid Scottish reel. We can all dance when we find music that we love. Gerald swallowed bravely as he walked toward the floor when the lions saw him coming, and they soon began to roar. "Hey, look at clumsy Gerald," the animals all sneered. "Giraffes can't dance, you silly fool. Oh, Gerald, you're so weird." We can all dance when we find music that we love. Gerald simply froze up. He was rooted to the spot. "They're right," he thought. "I'm useless. Oh, I feel like such a clot." So he crept off the dance floor and he started walking home. He'd never felt so sad before, so sad and so alone. We can all dance when we find music that we love. Then he found a little clearing and he looked up in the sky. "The moon can be so beautiful," he whispered with a sigh. "Excuse me," coughed a cricket, who'd seen Gerald earlier on, "but sometimes when you're different, you just need a different song." We can all dance when we find music that we love. Listen to the swaying grass and listen to the trees. To me, the sweetest music is those branches in the breeze. So imagine that the lovely moon is playing just for you. Everything makes music if you really want it to. We can all dance when we find music that we love. With that, the cricket smiled and picked up his violin. Then Gerald felt his body do the most amazing thing. His hoofs had started shuffling, making circles on the ground. His neck was gently swaying, and his tail was swishing round. We can all dance when we find music that we love. He threw his legs out sideways, and he swung them everywhere. Then he did a backward somersault and leapt up in the air. We can all dance when we find music that we love. Gerald felt so wonderful. His mouth was open wide. "I am dancing. Yes, I'm dancing. I am dancing," Gerald cried. We can all dance when we find music that we love. Then, one by one, each animal who'd been there at the dance arrived while Gerald boogied and watched him quite entranced. They shouted, "It's a miracle! We must be in a dream! Gerald's the best dancer that we've ever seen!" We can all dance when we find music that we love. How did you learn to dance like that? Please, Gerald, tell us. But Gerald simply twirled around and finished with a bow. We can all dance when we find music that we love. Then he raised his head and looked up at the moon and stars above. We can all dance, he said, when we find music that we love. We can all dance when we find music that we love. All right, boys and girls, now it's your turn. First things first, find any book you like. Second, look for a theme or a plot in the book. Third, use that theme or the plot to help you come up with a sentence. Fourth, hum a little tune or use an instrument to help you come up with something, maybe even your body as a percussion instrument. Use that instrument to come up with a little song and read it with your book. Enjoy. Maybe you can even come up with one or two. Have a good time. See you soon.